Okay, we wouldn't have split this into two sections doing the campaign, except that I had the video mishap. This should be pretty quick. But let's take care of the campaign situation. Both players, and this can be done simultaneously if there's, multiple sets of humans to utilize. But under my circumstance, I have to pick one and then the other to do it. We'll look through the command deck and try to decide what their pulsing is going to be. Now, this first turn is only 4 cards. It's fairly lightweight. So let's get started. I'll do the Yorkists first, since I kind of remember what I wanted to do with them. So, I've got passes. I'm not going to need them, not with this deck of cards. Right, I only have 4 cards total. So I get 3 York. And 3 March cards. Both have the same command rating. Does everybody have a 2? No. You get some shittier people, but okay. And I figure out what I want to do with them. So one of the problems with Levian Campaign is you have to pre-plan everything. It's like a game of, I think it was called Robo Rally. I never actually played it. It sounded horrible to me. The idea of pre-programming with cards. Or something that I actually covered, Gunslinger, where you program out your moves using cards. But here, I'm not programming out precisely what I'm doing, just the order of play. So what do I want to do? Well, and you kind of have to figure out your entire turn at this point. And this is, again, why it's hard. You have to plan everything. You have to plan it out. It becomes easier the more you play, but any particular situation becomes tricky because it's hard to know what sort of the patterns that work are. So what am I going to want to do? Well, York, I don't really care about. This guy wants to get down to the Southerners and start converting them. Which means I'm going to want, I have this York's favored son. I didn't take the road thing. I have an extra point of command. So I get 3 command off my cards, which means I can come down 1 to here, 2, 3 off my first card. My influence is going to be bonused, so I may want to actually do some influence. So I'm going to play a March for that. I'm going to play another March card. I don't know if, I haven't decided my order. I'm just trying to decide how I want to split my cards up. I want to get another one to get in here. Now, I'm going to want to grab some supplies while I'm here probably. Ludlow's a castle, which isn't the best thing in the world. That just gets me 1 provender. Not really what I want to do. I want to convert Salisbury first. So how do I, and I may eventually want to get a port or something along those lines and get a couple of ships because I can get more production that way. But I think 2 cards sounds about right. That means I'll play 2 York cards. York's got the majority of my force. I'm going to keep him in reserve. This is what I'm going to choose. This may not work well. It's one of the problems with the game is I'm making a guesstimate as to what I want to do. Now, I throw that out of my head. I don't know what they're trying to do. What I'm trying to do is what's in my mind here. So I pull out my command cards here, and again, no need for any passes. I have Henry VI, and I look for Somerset here. Looks like he may be the next one. Again, 2 command rating, which is useful. All right, what are my plans? Well, this is a general bonus. This allows me... Why did I take this card? I must have drawn it to begin with. Yeah, that's the only excuse for me having it. This allows me to avoid a battle with the Yorkists, but is with Henry. I don't really care too much about him. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to supply once with Somerset. He's with Henry, so I can operate them together as a force. I have a lot of influence on both my players, on both my dudes. Do I have any bonuses? I have this, which gives me extra. I have better troops. I probably want to try to get into a combat because I just feel like I've built up a lot of strength, what with a vassal in play and the extra troops that I built to begin with. Do I need a tax? Yeah, I have a fair amount of coin. Somerset is going to probably provender. That's going to get my depleted out there. Now I'm allowed to carry 2 things per cart, if I recall correctly. These are the little pieces that are like really hard to remember that can change. This is the kind of thing that can change without like me feeling like, hey, Levian campaign isn't working the way it should. How much you can carry in a cart. But these are the kind of things that you really have to just keep looking up and try to figure out what the hell they actually work out to. So Hall. I can only carry 1 per cart. Well, that's not good. I got room for 2 extra provender there. That's it. That means I probably want to move and then gather supplies rather than gather supplies and then move. I don't really want to tax, so I will do Henry first to gather supply, to move, Somerset to gather supplies. I don't like doing it this way. I'm much more used to being able to carry a lot more food. Well, wait a minute. What does London give me in food? It's a good question. It gives me 3 provender, so I would be wasting a movement capability if I did things in the other order. And since they're both pretty decent, I'm going to just pulse them like this. My intention being that they will operate together. Where does that put us? And I put a lot less thought in than I've put in any other Levian campaign game at this stage in the game. Now, I put a hell of a lot of thought into the levying because it feels particularly difficult, but I don't feel like these other aspects are as difficult as in the other levying campaign. I feel like, mainly because I'm not sure that there's anything I want to do, right? All right. So, the rebel goes first. He flips over a card. He gets a march. What was I going to do with March? March has provender he needs. So we look here. We first look here. Fortress gets me only 1 provender per command. I have 3 commands. I have room for a lot of provender. I don't really need to supply right now. See, the problem is Ludlow doesn't give me shit. Okay, I'm going to move. That's 1 move using the highway. 2 moves to Bristol. 3 moves here. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to be in supply range, though. This feels dangerous, but I want to do this. I get a move fought marker, which means I have to feed. I have 6 guys. I use up my 1 provender. This is a dangerous situation. If you're at all familiar with levying campaign, you're like, whoa, you're using up their last food. That's not good. It's not. It's not. But there's the possibility to pillage, so not necessarily that bad. We'll see. The other thing is, since I'm using hidden, not being able to inspect each other's stuff, he doesn't know how weak that is. So we flip the first campaign here. It's a Henry card. Now, I had decided that Henry does not want to gather his provender first. He has a movement command rating of 2. He's allowed to move both forces. 2, is there anywhere I'm trying to get? I could go try to face York off on his own, or I could try to position myself so I'm between the two of them. This is kind of between the two of them. I'm going to move here. I'm going to do an influence action on Oxford. Let's take a look at how this is. I'm parlaying. I'm at or adjacent to the stronghold. I don't have to check influence. I don't have to pay anything for this. I have a moved fought marker because I moved this force into here. I mark this as pro-Lancaster. That is now a city, which, if I'm going to keep track of things, I'm going to have to do this. And I've used both my commands. Boy, this feels like I'm doing so little with only 2 command points, and yeah. So I gathered that. I've put myself in a position where I can react to either of them, which I feel is important, except that I got a march. No, I got a Henry. All right, this is what I want to do. I have to feed my troops. I have to eat 2 provender off him and 1 off Somerset. This is not optimal. It's what I got, man. All right, we go back. I've used my 2 commands. I flip over. What do I get? I get another march. I'm going to spend my influence to take this away. I have an extra command. My influence is automatic in this case. Parlay, you don't have to check influence if you're with the target. I can just add or remove favor, shift 1 level towards. So I add 1, I add a second one. I've now taken Somerset's seat and converted it to me. This is Wells, which is a town. Oxford's a city. This is a town. That shifts this up. Okay, that's 2 of my 3 actions because I have this bonus for command. The influence would improve my influence checks, but I'm not really worried about that. For my 3rd action, I am going to supply. What do I have? I have 3 carts. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't supply from here, but I can supply from Wells. I take a look at that. That is a city. Wait, that's a city or a town? That's a city. So towns did not go up. Cities went even. Okay. But that's fine. I look at city. I get 2 provender for that. I have no extra bonuses. That's York who has those. So I get enough provender to operate for another turn. I did not get a move fight this time because I didn't do anything of that nature. We hit Somerset. Somerset's problematic because he can't move Henry, which means I've already converted this space. I'm going to supply. What am I going to supply from? Well, I have 6 carts. I could supply from London. London provides me with 3 provender. So that's one of my 2 commands. I deplete this, and I get 3 more provender, which puts me to a 4. I've got 1 more command left. I could grab more supplies. I'm in a city. I could grab 2 more provender. I have room for it here, right? I have 4 provender on my card with 2 cards. I can carry 2 of it, but Henry can carry 2 of it. I got room for 2 more. I'm going to keep grabbing provender. Is this wise? I don't know. There's no wastage here, so it's not that big a problem. So I'll put a depletion here, and I'll grab 2 more provender. I'm not allowed to raise vassals or anything like that here. And we go back over. We get a York action. York has a big force, but he knows he's facing 2 cylinders here. That's not optimal from my point of view. I have the capacity to grab a lot of provender, but I don't have the capacity to carry a lot of it. Ely is a city. Okay. I am going to, I have 2 movement. Cambridge, St. Albans, that's 1 move. I get a move fought. I shouldn't have this here. I already spent those. That's 2. If I move here, there's an interception capability. I don't really like that. But I don't see another way. Like, I'd have to go way out of my way to get to Edward. However, my card will get eaten. I have another York card here. If I just move here. I'm going to do it, though, anyway. I'm on a highway, so I've used an action to move there, but now the Lancastrians get to intercept. Now, Henry would love to intercept, but he has a valor of 0. He's no good at it. So I'm going to move all the way down to Guildford, avoiding the interception here. This is exhausted. It's not worth too much, although controlling it would be nice. And I have to spend my feed, which is both my provender. I've used all my commands up. I'm done. Come back over. Henry gets to go. I don't know what the hell Henry wants to do, and I got to figure that out. I think Henry wants to attack York. I think that's his goal here. I've got enough provender between my 2 forces to do this. I've got enough commands to move. I'm going to come 1, 2, down to here. I get a move fought. York has the option of withdrawing. Did I just walked down a highway? Hold on. We don't want to do that, do we? Do we have room for more provender? We do not. We're carrying 6. We have 6 capacity. What else could we do? We could tax. This is not my seat. It's not a vassal seat. I can't tax it. Where's my seat? Good question. Where does Henry sit? Henry sits... What is all this shit? Where's Henry's seat? Henry's seat is in London, yeah. I could have taxed London, but it's exhausted. Oh, before I move, is there anything I can do? Forage isn't going to help me. I could do a parlay. Yeah, why don't I do a parlay? So before I actually move here, because it's only going to take me 1 move to get down this highway. Before I do a move, I'm going to parlay. What do I want to parlay? I want to... Am I good at this? I have a high influence. I'm going to parlay... I don't know. Let's Parlay Gloucester. That's going to cost me 1 influence point. That gives an influence point over to the Yorkists. And now on a 1 through 5, I succeed as far as I can tell. Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know. Am I running out of battery? Yes. Check influence. I spent 1 for the way. I don't have to spend an influence point for this because I'm doing the parlay with my action. If you look here, it's just an automatic thing. But checking influence, 1.42, I gotta check the rules here, 3.41. Like, check influence normally costs you an influence. And I'm not sure that's the case. Like, I know I have to pay for the way, but I had the feeling that I don't have to pay for the way otherwise. The route to the parlay, the Lord can spend command actions, however, the route to the parlay may extend no further than adjacent. Yeah, I think I still have to spend 1. Campaign parlay is otherwise the same, using command instead of lordship. Parlay beyond the Lord's own location requires the Lord to occupy a friendly locale, requires the stronghold to be free of enemy lords, and calls for the usual influence check, including an extra influence point for distance. I think I would have to spend 2 influence to parlay at a distance here still. Is that worth it? Well, I'm going to say yes, because I don't know. And on anything but a 6, I succeed. I get a 6, which sucks. And then I continue and do my move down to here. Now, York has the option. We've just entered battle, which is in a weird location, all the way under, kind of right after March, but before the other commands. I've done an approach. I can choose battle or exile. I feel like I have a pretty good force. I'm going to battle. It's probably a bad choice because I'm facing 2 lords with my 1. Dunno. Game may be over here. It's not going to be over. But this may actually set the Yorkists back quite a bit. Just the way what St. Albans essentially did for Henry early on. I really need to swap batteries, though. This is going to be the Battle of Guildford. I'm not going to create a little chart. I'll move this here. The attacker is the Lancastrians. The defender is the Yorkists. I believe the defender has to go first. And they actually explained how, in the, I believe the designer's notes, how the fact of the matter was the attacker tended to have an advantage in battles during the War of the Roses. And so not only did they skew away and get rid of the defensive advantage, they actually built in a slight attacker advantage into the situation, which means York is going to go here. What am I going to face York with? It really doesn't matter. Henry will take the center. Somerset will take the right. It doesn't matter because York can actually attack either of these 2. Do we have a... Oh, here we go. Yeah, whenever you make an influence check, you have to spend 1. Okay. All right. Let's follow the order for battle. We chose not to go into exile. Obviously, we're not going to flee. There's no repositioning. Center's dealt with. We have a flanking force. All the troops show up to begin with. In some of the other games, the siege allowed troops to position a little differently. Okay. Then we're going to have the missile strikes. Now, remember, it's simultaneous in this one, which means we count up all of Henry's missiles. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 9, 10. Yeah, longbowmen count double. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 and a half, 9, 10 and a half, 11, 12 and a half. That's going to be 13 hits that we're inflicting, and we'll mark that here. Meanwhile, his is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half is 8 hits. And again, it's simultaneous. Now, who has to take their hits first? The defender has to take their hits first. It's still simultaneous combat, but somebody has to roll their dice first, is essentially what it comes down to. Now, it would be very appealing to take my hits over here on my retinue, but if my retinue routs, I rout. So we don't want to do that, especially this early in the fight. So we're going to take 2 of the hits on men-at-arms, who have a 1 to 3 armor rating. We fail with both of them, so they are routed. And that was, I should mark it this way. That was 2 hits on the Yorkists. Well now, that did not make me happy. If I look at my combat, crossbowmen take the hits next. I'm going to have, longbowmen take their hits next. I'm going to take 2 of my hits on longbowmen, because that's the most I can absorb. With ones, I save. Okay, so one of them succeeded in saving. I'm going to take another hit on a longbowman. 1 I save. Oh, shit. I forgot about my valor markers. So I've got 2 valor markers here. I might have used one of them on a man-at-arms, but I chose not to. Whatever. I've got no valor there, but I've got 3 total here. One of them is my trollop valor. So put them there. I'll save my valor for my retinue. We're getting close to where I might want to use my retinue, but I'm going to take another hit on the longbowmen, because I think the longbowmen, they're not going to last another round, and they don't get to fight. All right, now I'm down to here. How much do I want to take? Hold on. Oh, we're not at melee yet. How much do I want to take on my men-at-arms? My militia. They're not really very valuable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits on them I could just take and leave myself with my retinue. Yeah, because if my retinue fights, it will be routed. All right, 7 hits on them. I do know the size of the enemy force at this point, because one of the options of play is that these little battle boards get set out on their own. So I think they have to be visible, they have to be known. All right, I'll take 3 hits on the militia. One of them survives. I'll take 3 more hits on my militia. I'm hoping to get really lucky here somehow, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't know what he's taken. 3 more get hit. Now, this is a better situation than the attacker faces in most of the Levian campaign games. I may have lost count. I think I should be down to 1 here. I'll take a hit on my retinue. I don't like doing this, but... No, screw it. I'll take a hit on a militia. There's no reason to take it on the retinue. Okay. A militia gets routed. These are all out of the fight at this point. I have expended all the hits that were achieved on me. Now, these 8 hits, who gets to choose in a flanking situation who's eating the hits? Let's take a look. A lord who has no enemy occupied, center may choose left or right. The attacking player declares the order of the engagement. The forces of lords strike the forces on the other side. So, defenders and attackers then choose which of their own lords in each engagement will absorb the hits first. Yeah. Okay. So, he gets to choose which of his two forces is getting hit here. And that actually would have happened earlier, but it doesn't really matter. Who do I want to take the hits on? I have an extra vassal here, which is of some value. Vassals are 1 to 4s. I have extra valor with him. I'm going to take my hits on Somerset. What does Somerset want to do? He's going to take the first 2 hits on his bowmen. They've already fired. Both my bowmen get routed. Do I want to take hits on my men-at-arms? Men-at-arms are pretty good, but they're not as good as the vassal. I'm going to take my next 2 hits on the men-at-arms and hope for the best out of this, because they just don't give me that good of value. I save one of them. Take another hit on the men-at-arms. I don't save him. Now I'm going to take a hit on Trollope. Now, if I don't use my valor here and Trollope gets whacked, the valor gets lost. So Trollope has to show some valor to begin with. He's got a defensive roll of 1 through 4. No! I must spend a valor on Trollope. I'll put it there in case he survives. That gives me another shot at a 1 through 4. This time he survives. I'll take another hit on Trollope because if it's my retinue, I'm screwed. Survives. And I'll take the final hit again on Trollope. This time Trollope does not survive. He and his card both go away. I've got another valor I can spend. Let's try to save him. This is my last chance. No, I do save him. Get rid of this valor. So Trollope is still there. And that means we get to go to the melee segment. Now, I'm not allowed to break off between the missile and melee segments. Feels a little funny, like I should be able to, but I'm not. If I lose my last militia, I'm done. Hold on. I couldn't use one of these. Let's spend one more valor. I'm going to say Trollope failed on an attack. Because here's the thing. If all his troops are wiped out, he immediately routs. So I've got to roll for Trollope again on a 1 through 4. He does survive. I've still got him there. I've got to keep that man-at-arms there, or else I have lost the battle. Not the battle, but I've lost Somerset in the battle, and he might die or whatever. All right, next part is the melee part. Let's count our strikes. Counter strikes? I've watched that play. The retinue gives me 3 strikes. The militia gives me a half. That means I do 4 to either of the Lancastrians, right? Let's see. How is this written? Defenders and attackers choose. Yeah. I can choose to take the hits on Henry now because Somerset's beaten up pretty much. He took the missile hits. Henry can now take the main hits, which is a big deal. Now, on Henry's side, on the Lancastrian side, I have, let's get the count here. I have 2, 5, 6, 4, 3, 4, 5, no, 4, 5, 6, nothing, 7, 8, 9. York is in trouble. Now, York has to allocate his losses first. If I take it on here, I lose. So on to the retinue it is. And York will roll. He needs a 1 through 4. He fails. He spends a valor. He fails again. The battle's over for York. I think I make a roll for that. Maybe, maybe not. It really doesn't matter. That was 2 of my hits. I keep rolling. This is gone as well. I could spend a valor on it, I guess. I wasn't allowed to spend the extra valor on my retinue to give it another save. No save there, so everything's wiped out. This is just making sure if I got things, if I screwed something up, this would cover that screw up. In terms of like, I don't think I need to roll any of those. I think he's just done. But Henry has to take these hits. He has 4 hits on him. I'm going to take, I have no valor. I'm going to take this on men-at-arms. 3 hits on the men-at-arms. 1 through 3s are hits, are safe. Okay, so I took 3 hits. I lose 2 of my men-at-arms. I'm going to take the final hit that I have on my men-at-arms as well. And they save. The battle is over because only one side has unrouted lords. If all lords of both sides routed, both sides lose, go here. Influence. The winning side gains influence equal to the sum of the printed influence plus 1 per vassal of the lords who fought on the defeated side. He has an influence of 5. That means our influence goes up by 5. The net influence goes up by 5 for winning. Spoils. We might get assets. Now we're here at Guildford, which is neutral. We total and have all the losers' carts, etc. So I'm not going to get the coin, but I do get 2 carts. Now I'm pretty sure these carts are just gone because he's going to be discombobulated. But I've got 2 extra carts here. I'm going to give those over here. I don't know which to give them to. See, he's got a lot of provender, and he can't just give it away. But I think I'm going to give both the carts over here to Henry, because he has a larger force. Somerset has to do stuff. Right? I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, so that's the spoils. Unrouted lords determine the fate of their routed troops pieces as follows. Roll a die for each routed. Okay. Unrouted lords is over here. I roll a die for each routed unit. Let's roll for his 2 men-at-arms. 1 saves and recovers. 1 goes into the dead pool. And keep these hits over here, just because I think they'll be useful rather than have to fish them out every time. Over here, I have 1 man-at-arms. He dies, and 2 archers. 1 of them survives. I need to play with my battery. Did any unrouted lord lose all that lord's own troops? This is the thing I don't think can happen. Because losing all your own troops causes you to rout. Right? A lord routs if either all that lord's troops have routed, regardless of retinue or vassal, or if the lord's retinue has routed, or both. I see no answer to this. Like, this is an impossible case. All right, death check and disband. Routed lords now die or disband. Routed vassals disband. Did we have a routed vassal? We did. No, we didn't. Trollope is still alive. He survived it. Okay. First defenders and attackers play held events that affect death. There isn't one. The only death check is York. Each side rolls one die for each of its routed lords. On a 3 through 6, the lord dies. York is dead. To the effect of death, he disbands. His seat is removed from the map. Everything they have is removed from the game. And now I have to check the scenario rules to see if York gets replaced. There were definitely replacement rules for the Lancastrians. I don't think there were for the Yorkists. Okay, so York is defeated. We go to the aftermath, where we have to deal with feeding. What do we eat? This is still feed times 2, because we're still big. So we have to eat 2 provender from him and 1 from him. That's a total of 3. Note that the coin didn't get captured, right? I've mentioned this already. In most of these games, capturing treasure is one of the big advantages of winning a battle. Doesn't happen here. Okay. And we move to the Yorkist side. That's a pass, because York is dead. Move back to Lancaster. He gets a Somerset. What the hell do I want to do? Good question. I don't know. I've just won the war as far as I'm concerned. I killed Richard, Duke of York. What the hell? What's left? Yeah, the Earl of March is still wandering around. All right, I got to deal with him. So what do I want to do with March? Well, Somerset can't march me towards March, which means I'm going to convert Guildford, because why not? It's part of why I'm here. Guildford is a city. Get a city marker to red. Red, not white. Lancasters are red, damn it. Their counters are white and fucking Kingmaker, and I have no problem with York being white. I'm like, yeah, they look white, sure, whatever. Because they have a white flower on a yellow background in Kingmaker, and there's no yellow here. All right, so that's one of Somerset's 2 actions. His second action is what? I did a parlay for the first. I did a free parlay, which I like. I could tax. This is not a place I can tax. I guess I supply. Where do I supply from? I might as well supply from Guildford, right? Source is an unexhausted stronghold. Doesn't have to be my seat or anything like that. I'm at a city. City gives me 2 provender. All right. And it is depleted or exhausted. It's depleted. I could move off on my own, but that seems unwise. I'd like to keep my martial capability. And the provender all goes onto Somerset, because he's the one who's taking that action, which is important for greed and whatnot. Okay, that's the end of the cards. I'm going to put all of York's pieces away. They're out of the game. They won't be coming back. He's just gone. And now we follow the sequence over here. We have just done end campaign. Tides of War. Award influence for favor and lords. See influence point summary. Okay. Where be that? That's here. Tides of War. +1 lord in each North, South, and Wales. All right. It's 2 for the Lancastrians. March didn't move in. +2 for domination in North, South, or Wales. That isn't the case anywhere. +2 for favor in London. That goes, again, for Lancaster. +2 for favor in Calais. Not there yet. +1 for favor in Harlech. Not there. +2 for most favor in cities. We're doing well. +1 for most in towns. +1 for most in fortresses. That's 1 for the Yorkists. Plus by capability card text. We look. This doesn't give us anything. We didn't manage to do it. This does. Nothing here. This is a gain Lord's influence turn. +1 influence ratings, plus the influence ratings of all on-map lords. Let's count our influence ratings. That's 2 for the Yorkists and 10 for the Lancastrians. This is beginning to look within reach, isn't it? Okay. Throw these up here. These are the lords that are currently available, so I'm keeping them face up for ease of discovery. Technically, they'd all be face down so that your opponent can't see which ones you've picked. We go back. We go over to here. Disembark. Is anybody at sea? No, nobody gets to drown. Victory. Is the game over? We haven't hit the threshold, and Earl of March is still on the board, so the Yorkists haven't been completely wiped off. Grow. It is not a grow turn. Waste. It's not a waste turn. Reset. Discard this levy campaign, and if desired, any held events, flip to levy and advance to next turn. All right, let me look here. I like this. I don't think this is possible for me, so I'm going to discard it. I look over here. I don't want this. I'm not really worried about being attacked. I guess I'll keep this because it's worth it. I like this because it gives me stuff. I like the extra troops for Trollop. I'm good with those. I hold them. There's nobody holding... Ah! Did I just cheat? Discard this levy and it's desired any held events. Can't discard capabilities. God damn it. This is horrible. Okay. So all those capabilities stay. This flips back over to levy. We're at the beginning of the next turn. I'm going to load this sucker up. Maybe stop talking in that weird sort of stentorian voice that I caught myself doing there. But yeah, I'm going to load this up. The first thing we're going to be doing is Arts of War, so I'm going to think a little bit about what just happened while I shuffle the cards, because I'd like to be able to come back with some words of something. Why I say this is horrible about not being able to discard these. Look, I got stuck with this card automatically. Both of these, honestly. May have put this one in the wrong place, may not have. Forgot to roll it and forgot to use it in combat. Damn! I don't think it matters too much. We might have wiped York out before the melee phase because of that. It would have been one additional missile shot. Probably not. Okay. But, first of all, if you get a bad draw at the beginning of the game, you're stuck with it. You can't do anything about it. You have to assign those suckers if you can. Secondly, if you make a mistake, if the situation, one of the things, this system tends to be unforgiving enough as it is. But one of the few things about it that was somewhat forgiving is if you screwed up and put a bad capability down and won a different one, you could exchange them pretty easily. You could discard them, and then it's just a levy cost to get it back, to get a different one back. As it stands, I'm stuck with these. I can't change them. This one probably was a bad idea. It was one I drew though, and I could have gone to either lord. If it had been on York, it would be gone now, which would have been cool. But I really would have rather had something like the Wales one, where I can collect points in Wales. It's a lot easier to reach the requirements in Wales. The Southerners is a hard one to reach. It's 5 or more strongholds, whereas these are like 3 each. But yeah. And anything else I wanna put forward here? It looks bad for the Yorkists, it really does, but we don't know. First of all, they're going to have to pay less, although they've got a fair-sized force there. They have to pay a coin. That's what they have. We look over here. He's going to, I think, have to pay 2 coins because he has a vassal with him. He doesn't have 2 coins. Over here it's 2 coins. He has that, and he has extra coins to help pay for Somerset, who's there. So we're not going to see any pillaging happening on next turn, as far as I can tell. But, I mean, the Major Lord is gone, man. It's going to be up to Warwick to try to defend things. I feel very disturbed by the fact that Warwick is got this shield. I'm so used to this one, again from Kingmaker. And again, this is one of those cases where I trust that the research, etc., for this is just much, much better than the research that was present in Kingmaker. Why? I don't know. I really don't. It just seems likely. It really does. It seems like back then, first of all, Kingmaker was first designed not through Avalon Hill, but like, what was it, like Game Time Games or something? I don't remember what the company was. I don't know. It was an English company. But Westmoreland is related to the Warwicks, but it's just troublesome to me. I mean, there's a lot of relationships elsewhere, and these are their titles. They might have both been Nevilles, which would explain a lot. But I'm just guessing that this may have been the elder family, the elder branch of the Neville family, but that the Earl of Warwick was actually like the superior and more important lord at the time, even if the elder branch were I think it's the Earls of Westmoreland as well. We're holding that. But I'm just guessing here, man. I'm just guessing. We haven't seen a whole lot of depredation, but you can already see, hey, there's a lot of territory that's depleted, that's not in great shape. Whoever gets the jump, right? March gets to march first because he just gets to. So he gets to slip away after this situation, which is going to be an impact on things. The question is, do you chase him down and try to hunt him down and knock out the opposition? Or do you just try to keep pumping up the IP? I don't know. We shall see. But this one's going up. This is the second part of the first turn. I'm hoping we will get more than one turn on each video, and certainly not split them between 2 turns, assuming I don't do anything stupid with my cameras. That guy's going back in the box, because things look good right now. All right, up it goes.